I have to start this video by telling you guys a little story. Sometime in 2019, my good friend Deku+5 was like, hey man, there's this game series called Persona, and they are PlayStation only, but that's fine, because they got anime adaptations. And the newest one sucks ass, but let's watch it anyways. Up until this point, the only contact I ever had with JRPGs was that one time I played a Final Fantasy Arena Fighter on my hacked PSP as a kid. Up until 2019, I was very much imprisoned by this thing called Rainbow Six Siege. But when we watched the first episode of Persona 5 the animation, I was like, holy shit, this shit sucks fucking ass. But the story is so good, so I bought a used PS4 Pro and a copy of Persona 5. And ever since then, my life declined at a slightly more uphill angle. Why am I telling you all this? Because I've been thinking. There's a lot of things about the Persona game series that I think are pretty neat. So I want to make a series of videos taking a detailed look at these little things and appreciating them for what they are. And the first one is the calendar system. I have to say, when Atlas was close to bankruptcy and someone came up with the idea of having to live out life day by day for around a year, they truly did reinvent the wheel of gaming. The immersion I felt when I first played Persona 5, and while days were passing in-game, days passed in real life too, was immaculate. There really is just something cool about seeing the days fly by, seeing the seasons change, and seeing the game you've spent 100 hours on slowly come to an end. Generally, Persona games start out in April and go all the way to December, with January being the final month in the game where something happens. The preparation for the final confrontation in Persona 3, or the fake reality in Persona 5. It really is such a unique system, and I haven't seen it be replicated in any other game, not even in Metaphor Fantasio. School days passing, holidays coming and going. Now, back when I played my first Persona game, I was out of a job. And when I played Persona 4, I was jobless. And when I played Golden, I was in lockdown. When I played Royal, I was still in lockdown. When I played Persona 3, I was also jobless. And when I finally played Persona 3 Reload, guess what? I was also out of a job. So sadly, I couldn't quite find the rhythm of going to school or a part-time job relatable. And I finished each game within 1 week of starting them, just as Atlas intended. Nevertheless, if I were still a student, I probably would feel even more immersed than I did while being jobless. Now that I go to work every day, however, I can finally relate to the feeling that Joker felt when he got a chalk fired at his face at max speed. Let's be serious for a second here. Have you ever seen any other game use a calendar system like this? If yes, please let me know. I'm dying to play more games that utilize it. It's just such a good system. Now I know there's people with guides out there min-maxing everything, picking the right choices. Not me. Yes, I picked Beep Boop. No, I didn't finish Mikoto's social link. I do not like her very much. Let me tell you another little story. When I first played Persona 5 and Sojiro told me to lock the door, I forgot to do it one time and I shat myself so hard. I thought I was gonna be grounded like in those animations. I reset my game and started like 1 hour of progress again. I don't think that people even realize how much heavy lifting this thing does. You know how Persona 5 says that you should take your time? You better do, cause you better plan out your dates for the next 3 months or you're not gonna unlock that sweet bonus semester. Yeah, the games don't joke around when they tell you to take your time. There is always this faint urge of dread you get once you pass like June, July, and August. Having to plan out your days to level up your strength, while also not falling behind on grinding for your virtual white woman or getting through the next treasure secured on the first day. Truly, no other game lets you simulate what it's like to be a student in rural Japan town. Whatever, I'm not that into Japan to be honest. I don't even know what the towns are called, like Mecklenburg-Vorpommern. What I'm trying to say here is that the calendar system is very underrated and one of the core pillars of the series' identity in my humble opinion. It just fits the flow so well. But that's not to say that it wouldn't work in a non-school setting. I'm sure it could work just as fine in university. But we all know by now that Atlas will never make a game where everyone is above the Turkish age of consent ever again. So, anyways guys, the calendar system is really cool and it's really unique. I hope that in Persona 6 they could maybe even have the weather be randomized every month so that replays are like more entertaining or whatever. But hey, I also hope for Femc and that there is not an evil guy whose name ends in Chi. With that said, thanks for stopping by and I might see you in a few months when I talk about why social link reversals and social links breaking were good actually.